Hello, 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 hello. Today is day 5, and I'm coming to you live from Coffapalooza. Oh man, I'm gonna do my best. We're gonna get another. We're at 3,074 words today. We're gonna try to get to. Let's just if round it to 3,600. We're probably gonna get a little further than that because we always do. But that's our 500 word a day goal. I'm gonna hack up a storm as we go. I hope you either forgive it or enjoy it. Um, And I always say you can tell you're writing something. There it is. There it is. You can tell you're writing something good when the universe starts trying to kill you. That's what they say. Um, so let's pick up where we left off yesterday. Uh, where were we? Oh, we were right here. Actually, before I start writing, let's talk a little bit about storytelling. Let's talk about goals and techniques. Um, because before we got started today, I was like reading over this again, kind of trying to like catch a feel about it. Um, And before we even like start writing, what is the structure that we want to see the story take in the next few pages, right? Um, aside from the hacking death. Um, so what I let's talk about the structure we already have. So this first chapter, insofar that it's a chapter right here, is kind of setting up that we're about to have a scene of pursuit. Um, and then the second chapter, right? Like starting around here, starts with some like banter slash bickering and is going to turn into an active action scene, right? So our goal, right, should be for these next few pages, we should have an action scene that, you know, is kind of exciting, kind of fun, and we want our two characters to end up at the end of the scene having, and I put it in quotes, having escaped because they need after whatever crazy car chase we have, they need time and space in which to kind of like come back into like character dialogue space and like, you know, building. Um, and because of the length, like we don't want the action scene to be too long. Um, but we want it to be long enough to kind of like justify the space that comes afterwards, if that makes sense. Because the space is needed, but it's not yet justified. Um, the other concern that I have reading through this, I feel, and it may be one of those things, and if you're a writer, you understand this, where your work, your product, whatever, it reads different to you than it reads to any other human being. That's just like how it is. Like, because you see it, you experience it so differently. And I always have this worry of like nobody is going to latch onto it in the way that I do or in the way that I'm trying to. Um, but that may not be the case. I'm just well, I guess what I'm wondering is there, and there'd be like a question like, is there real estate in a little bit more before, not necessarily a prologue, but like a lead in or something. Like my worry is, do we care enough about these characters, right? Because it's all about a series of justifications. The action scene justifies the space that comes after, kind of the quiet, back to character and dialogue scene. But an action scene itself needs to be justified, right? You can't just throw gunfire and explosions necessarily at a pair of and there's not going to be explosions, but like at a pair of characters you don't yet care about, right? You need stakes. Um, and in order to have so action needs to be justified in the same way that everything needs to be justified. I am not yet convinced that I've done the work to justify the action. I am not yet at the point where I want to go back and do large rewrites. But as I move forward, I want to keep it in my mind that like I'm sort of trying to do two things at once, which is difficult. I'm trying to introduce and establish characters create chemistry, create this like kind of character dynamic and create the plot stakes simultaneously. And that's a little difficult because the characters don't even know each other. I've done books in the past that open with action scenes, but they're action scenes where the characters do already know each other. So they're action scenes that allow for pre-existing chemistry to be on full display. And in those cases, it can be a lot easier to kind of get away with, because the two characters will say things to each other or reference things to each other, and you get a sense that they know each other, and like you care about the scene actually because like the characters have stakes because the two characters care about each other, right? Like I wrote this a little, it's dumb. It's kind of dumb, but like it's a scene of like, a brother and sister running down the side of a volcano as it's erupting, and like, yeah, that's dumb, but like, come on, like it's fun. That's fun. And you know, we don't know anything about them except for the fact that they like care about each other, and so they create their own stakes. In this case, we kind of don't have that. Um, but again, I'm not yet at the point where I want to go back and rewrite. I'm more trying to model when I say this, the sorts of thoughts that I have as I draft. Um, so there may come a point where I come back and kind of re-explore this. But until then, let's push on ahead, right? So I said last time we have Ani starts talking about where she was going, yada yada yada. And that's dialogue. We're gonna get that. But let's do another little voice shift, right? Um, because we have, what is it? Fuck what I just said. Just hit me. This is fucking real. I'm fucking stupid. Now fucking drive. Pardon the French. Um, Now one thing I remember because I wrote the yesterday, the car is in park. So let's do something fun. Have you ever dropped your foot to the floor in a 2015 Nissan Rogue? Now the joke, of course, is that it's a station. It's a station wagon, right? It's a chunk. It's you know what I mean. It's not a particularly impressive vehicle. Um, I have it again. I have a 2015 Nissan Rogue, so I'm just going off what I have. Um, so this, by the way, this go go go. This is spacing. I may cut this. I l- I like the spacing because the joke lands a little better with the beat, I think. But I'm not married to it. Okay, so I want to pause. So I go back and forth on parentheses as a writer, and this is not like me prescribing anything. It's more talking about like my own experience. Like parentheses, some of the time they work really well, and other times they feel kind of cheap. This is one of those edge cases. I don't know, like, do I want the? I'll keep it for now. I'll keep it for now. Makes a sound like a Ferrari. I need, this needs a little more texture. No, no, it's like we can do a radio show. Yeah, I'm trying to like the idea is that like when you're in park, you make this, and I've done this so many times because I'm a dunce. Like it creates this like it's vroom, such a sound, and then when you like shift and go, like you kind of feel, you know, we need it. What do we feel like? What does it feel like? Like walking up an escalator. I'm gonna remind which tire was it? Was it in the left rear tire, I think is what I said it was. Oh, yeah. You know, what, that's kind of funny. Okay, so now we can cut back into I say empty, that's the thing. If I say empty stop sign, in the pit of my stomach. This is one of those like phrases. Empty stop sign in the pit of my stomach. You get the sense of like I don't know like what it is about this sentence that gets across what I'm feeling, but I do think it like you get this sense of like acceleration and movement. So I want to like in this coming sequence, there's kind of two things happening at once. Like Anya is going to do a lot of like talking. I will fill this in a moment. Let's stick to Anya's dialogue just for a second, so that we can like ride that train while we have it, so to speak, right? This is going to be another like action beat is going to be in here, so I'm leaving like a little note for it. There's an action beat here, and this action beat is particular. This is a particularly insane bit of driving to kind of counterpoint. Actually, it should be like unitalicized. There we go. All right, let's take stocks for a moment. Hmm. It's a lot of like action beats, right? All right. Pause for just a second. So what do I want to do here? Like, yeah, no, fair enough. So let's get this last insane bit of driving, and then we'll take stock again. So I think I like the idea of pause there for now. Like, so the way I look at it, right? What do we have and what are we missing? I think we're almost at the point. So I need to find a way to break them out of this chase, right? And in order to do that, like so what we're gonna do is complain like this part here. What we're gonna do, complain about there being no other cars up until now. No witnesses, and yet suddenly about to run a red light, a main road, and there's an entire stream of cars. Like, so the idea is like so I'm gonna end the chase. I'm gonna actually get rid of the whole turn left here thing. This no longer like functions as much for me. We can get rid of this note. And like what we need though is, so he's gonna cut across the traffic, lots of honking, big danger, yeah, yeah, yeah. But what we need is we need to then like everyone has to like, as a writer, you have to like take a breather, everyone step back. We need to like establish more about these characters, right? Because we're having a lot of like dialogue in kind of this crazy situation, but we haven't done necessarily the groundwork of like fully like situationing in it, if that makes sense, right? So it's going to be really important in the next session, probably, like where they get through traffic, they go like a block or two away from the intersection, and they like just park in like a lot out of the way somewhere, and they just breathe, and we're like, what the fuck just happened? What was that? Like, what do we do? Who even are we, right? Like, and I think it's like a moment for them to actually like introduce themselves to each other. That's like our moment of actual introduction, right? And that's going to be like next chapter, right? So next chapter is actual introductions to our characters and their backgrounds, right? And it's like, because we have right now, what we have is a lot of like dialogue quipping, which I find very fun. And I think it's like an okay lead into this. I just want to make sure that we don't, in the rush, lose track of the actual like character work. That's all. But I'm feeling good. I think like when we get a chance to actually sit down and have the characters talk to each other, we're gonna have a good time. So that's it for today, and I'll see you all again tomorrow.